Testing 1 2 1. All right, so I guess this week I have been digging out of that Monday hole, and I pretty much did it. So for today, Friday, I'm just going to be looking for if there isn't any hard news that drops or any really like um specific news. I'm just gonna be looking for what I looked for last week. A whole sector moving. Find that's what I will be interested in. Go ahead and jump over here to our micros. Okay, so micros right now, I'm seeing PBM up 28%. The news on it by science Biomed secures Bellberry HREC approval to use Scilab's psilocybin product NPX5 in ongoing phase 2B cancer-related adjustment disorder. That's a trial targeting top line results of and it says in 2026. So these are things that are coming in 2026 for this one. This is PBM here. Then we got VMAR, which we've seen all this week pretty much. It's at 30 cents. But yeah, PBM is looking like it's not leading in volume yet. 4 million shares traded on it. And it is the most, looks like the most bullish looking one, but to only be up 28%, it's got a lot of work to do. Other ones that I see on their scan, Walk, AMST. Looks like it has, is today the 19th? It is. It does have catalyst for today. It says it accelerates growth with launch of AI native Nurse Magic. So those two have a catalyst there, PMB and AMST. So I'm going to add those down here just to be watching and do some research on as well and see if they have any red flags that gets them taken off of that watch list. Let's look into those real quick. And then VMAR doesn't have any catalyst. So what I've been doing, I was digging out of that hole. So on Monday, I traded something without fresh catalyst, and I suffered for it. I was like, well, maybe it won't be so bad. And that ended up shooting me in the foot. So let's go out here, search, and black screen. There we go. Research, and let's go to trade. So these are my trades from yesterday. I had one winner, and then I kind of played around with a couple smaller sizes on ATHA. It was the only one that I saw with news that I liked. It was pretty negative on the day, but I'm a catalyst trader, so I stuck with the thing with a fresh news catalyst, and it ended up popping for me. And then I kind of played around with it with some smaller size, 25 shares at first, lost $1, 50 shares, lost $4, 100 shares, and so after 3 losses on small share size, I just stopped. I was like, "Yep, that's enough." It did kind of mess up my win rate though, because I had been trading 1 trade a day, and this one was 4, so yeah, it messed up the win rate. But that is what it is. For now, my profit loss ratio has been pretty much 2 to 1 this whole month. So here's my month here. And this last week, that Monday trade without the fresh catalyst, I just should not have traded that. But I drug myself out of that whole ending. Or today, I am down $26 on the week, so that's not bad. First 2 weeks was pretty good as well. And just looking to continue to look for fresh catalysts to play on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So, and let me go back over to PMB. PMB went up here to 206 high. Let's go look at that. Well, no, before we look at the charts, let's go look at the news on it, PMB. Have a float of 1.55 million. Insiders and institutions almost equal. Insiders have a little bit more holdings there. Copy that out of there, and the shares outstanding is 1. So definitely a micro float on that one. Copy that. Go ahead and get notes out. Pretty much the same thing every day. Take notes, do your due diligence, find some fresh news, and capitalize on the fresh news. Pretty much it. Look for where people are. All right, so let's go. That was statistics. Let's go profile, PBM. Let's see where you're located. Where are you from? It is out of Canada. It's Canadian stock, Toronto, Ontario. It has 12 employees. It is healthcare and a lot of biotechs this past week. Your biotech. Okay, Science Biomedical engages in the development of botanical psilocybin-based psychedelic medicines. It also evaluates natural site. Oh, okay, all right. I'm not gonna. I just want to know what it does. Okay, so patients. It's for treatment of adjustment disorder in patients with incurable cancer diagnosis. So if it's incurable, but it just does adjustments of or the treatment of the adjustment disorder. Now I don't know exactly what adjustment disorder is. Maybe adjustment to like they have here, anxiety, depression. If you got a terminal illness, your whole body adjusts to trying to understand that. So yeah, post PTSD, stress, grief, adjustment disorder. Okay, that makes sense. Company is based out of Toronto, Canada. Um, so it's basically like depression pills, trying to keep people from going down a road to expediting a terminal illness. All right, so let me put keyword here. So we have, it's not really a cancer drug. It's more like a um more like depression and anxiety. So I put depression and anxiety drugs. Okay. So got all my notes there. Notes here, activate. Activate. So depression, anxiety. Oh, not right. Okay. So Canada stock, boom, 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 depression and anxiety. I know people would read that whole cancer thing and be like, yo, this is a cancer drug, but this is not a cancer drug. So this is depression and anxiety, and I don't know if it's gonna get the same love as oh, you found a workaround if adjusting the opacity is not possible. No, adjusting the opacity, you have to add an input to adjust the opacity. So I'm gonna look at the code after stream and see about that. But yeah, adjusting opacity, it's an input. So you literally put input, name the variable, whatever, opacity changer or opacity, OP, I don't know. And then you set it equal to a, 0 to 100 or equal to a variable that is, that can change, the, what am I trying to say? My brain is still waking up. The variable to change from 0 to 100. So that's what the input is going to do. You actually type that input in, or you can scroll up and down and enter that number, and then it recalculates the visibility of the object. But yeah, let's see. PMB. Oh, so we finished the notes there. Let's see what else is up here on the micros. Anything else with Catalyst? BMAR, AMST, AZI, that Chinese stock is back up here. It has a press release. It says press release strategic CDIB confirms 90 million initial investment in Aussie at $3.50 per share, but I mean it's currently at 167. So I don't know how it's gonna get all the way up there. It has Catalyst, so let's look into it. Let's weigh its Catalyst. PBM is Catalyst. I don't know if it's gonna be as impressive. It looks like it's gonna be bullish, but it's only because it has that Cancer leading its news. But I'm not sure if it's gonna be the love of today as many people expect. But let's go look into AMST. Here. And I haven't looked at any of the charting yet, the actual daily charts, anything like that. I'm starting with the news so I can see what not to waste my time on. And PMB, waste of time. Or PBM, waste of time. Let's look at AMST. So this one says Amistite Inc., a technology company, engages in the marketing and development of B2C and B2B AI-driven solutions in the United States. Its products include Amistite Engage, that leverages proprietary AI infrastructure, offering cutting-edge applications that cater to both individual and professional needs, and Nurse Magic, mobile healthcare app, streamlines creation of nursing notes and documentation tasks, enhances patient communication, and offers personalized guidance to nurses on patient care, medications, and handling challenging workplace situations. So Amistite was founded in 2017 out of Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan in the house. All right, let me get my notes out. So first keyword is definitely AI. You know, let's go ahead and mark that on part. Well, it says AI driven solutions. So AI driven, and I don't know what proprietary AI that they're using, whether it's Gemini or OpenAI or whatever they're using. So I'm gonna put AI driven, not AI. It's not completely an AI company. Right. But I do know that that could help. I remember I was in school with a couple of nurses and stuff, and man, they're having to learn all those drugs and stuff. I know AI is helping with like being able to like build an agent to get to research a drug or something that you can't remember. Man, they have to remember like 100 or 200, 300 drugs. I'm like, oh man, y'all tripping, y'all tripping. I'm gonna just write a code to go do it for me. All right, so Detroit, Michigan. This one is out. Oh, okay. Employees, 6 employees in this technology company. So not a big company at all. Driven. This is out of Detroit, Michigan. Copy that. Definitely smaller base there. And then what's we got? Go over to the statistics. Statistics. Good morning, Danielle. We got on this one, we got a float of 3.04, shares outstanding of 4.57. For the insiders are heavy holding on this one. So, but with 6 employees, I don't know how much love it's going to actually get. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. That in my notes. Hey, my notes done on that. There are my notes right there on chart. AI driven is the keyword. Sector technology, industry software, full-time employees 6 could be a red flag, for sure. As a low float, but I guess people are seeing that full-time employees are 6, and they're like, you know what? I don't know. Do I want to make these 6 people rich by pushing this thing to the moon? I don't know. All right, so the last one that had, we went over PBM, which already went down. It's at 19%. We did AMST. And now I think AZI was the only other one that had catalyst. So let's look in AZI. Chinese stock. Yeah, I think I already had notes on it. Yeah, I do. Okay. I already got notes on this one. This one's notes. Can I get this moved over? If I can find the notes somewhere. See my notes. Should be somewhere in here. I don't even see my here. I see them on the daily chart, but let me bring this over. Date. There we go. Okay, there they are. So I activate, and this is why I like doing those notes early in the week, because sometimes they're already on the chart. Here are the notes for this one. Beijing, China sector, consumer cyclical, industry, auto truck dealerships. Let's go back. One. So yeah, not the safest. It took some souls earlier this week. Um, I'm not all into that one. The one that I actually traded yesterday was ATHA. And you know what I'm realizing is sometimes these things drop and they're negative on the day, but you can still find opportunities if they have the catalyst. And so I've been trading, like this one was down, I don't know how much on ATHA. And it looks like it popped all the way up. What in the world? Oh, no. Wrong thing. Okay. So over here is where I was trading. It went up there to 836, and we had marked up different levels. And I was looking for it to come back to the bottom right around this 634. It came down almost to that level, and I was like, okay, well, let's see if I can find an uptrend off of this. And it started uptrending. I was like, okay, let me just get a little bit. So I got some at 690, some at 690, and then I added thinking it was gonna break through this. Added around like 695, and then end of day it finally did a little pop right here, and this is where I was selling. So got that little uptrend going, and it popped up here to 726, and I was taking profit in here because this is where the ATRs were. And so I didn't want to not take profit and then get a drop like this, and it did drop. And on this drop, I added back small. I added 25 shares, or no, not 25 shares in here. I was looking for this drop to fall all the way through, but it didn't. And so when it didn't, it swerved back up here around this 717 point of control level. And so I bought off of this level 25 shares, but it just would not. It kept stopping me out here. I was looking for it to go ahead and run through the rest of the ATR, but it just couldn't do it. And I ended up stopping out with the rest of my shares. I sold. This was where, so the first time it came back in here, I got 25 shares. Then it came back down again. I got 50 shares out this 17, right? Then it came back down again, and it fell a little bit more, a little bit faster, and I was like, ooh, but it came back over this again. So I got 100 shares and got stopped out again. And it ended up, after I got stopped out on that 100 shares, it dropped all the way back down here to 7. So I was glad I just had a smaller size. I did not catch that full fall. I was using this lower daily gap, this 707. I did not want to see it fall below. And I got out before that. So that's what I was doing, using those daily levels. And daily levels really are what I really trade off of and trade towards. I rarely use like the intraday levels, like 15-minute, 2-minute, whatever. I'm looking for a daily level to get tested. And I know while we were talking in the Discord, I was mentioning 644. 644 was kind of down there in that range that it was trading earlier. And I was like, well, if these are institutions in here playing, I'm thinking it can get back close to this 634. But I didn't trust this little fall down in here, right here. I didn't trust buying in here. I probably should have got in just small, but I didn't trust it. I thought it could fall all the way through. So I was playing a cautious game there and letting it rise on its own. Anyway, on the non-micros, I see PRPH. PRPH, that's only up 16%. I mean, not 16%, it's only 16 cents, up 60% with 11 million shares. Does it have catalyst? ABL Diagnostics informs the market of non-binding letter of intent. Oh no, it's a letter of intent. Letter of intent, I hate those. Non-binding merger agreement. Binding merger agreement. Trading halt status. Yeah, none of this makes sense. So I'm gonna let PRPH does have catalyst though. So we'll see how many souls it can take on a day. Other ones that I see up here on the non-micros is Mara. We've seen Mara before. Ugrow and Nike is up here. Nike is down 11% with the million shares traded. Not sure what's going on with Nike, but yeah, they got punched in the mouth a little bit. What's the shares outstanding on PRPH are just way too much. Like if I'm gonna trade a penny stock, it's gotta be a low float. I can't trade anything but a low float. I don't even care if it does have catalyst. This thing is 16 cents with 46 million shares in the outstanding. So I'm guessing that float is a little bit higher. Let me go check that PRPH. PRPH says that it has 96 employees. It's a healthcare diagnostics and research. It is out of Garden City, New York. They work on dietary supplements, novel drugs, and compounds in the United States. Dietary supplements, energy and stamina boosters. Looks like it also develops Be Smart esophageal pre-cancer diagnosis. This is another kind of like dip into cancer, but it's not actually like it's a pre-cancer diagnosis. So they're searching for the pre thing. So it's not really a drug. They have some memory related. They trying to touch on everything. They got COVID, cancer, memory, boosters, dietary supplements. I think they're really spread out, and that's probably why they're 16 cents because they're just looking for something to work. And I don't know if I want to be on the ship with them as they try to find out what's gonna work. But yeah, Garden City, it does have a catalyst, so it's a letter of intent though, so not the hottest catalyst. I am going to take notes on this because it does have catalyst. Your healthcare, 96 employees. It's really, I guess I don't know what the keyword would be for this because they're doing so much. So keyword dietary supplements, novel drugs. It operates through two segments, diagnostics, service. I don't know. Let's just put dietary supplements. So maybe weight loss. We saw obesity drug earlier, but diagnostic services company provides a range of dietary pre-cancer analysis, pre-cancer diagnostics. And I think that's it. Okay. But it's 16 cents, so let's go look at the I'm thinking it's gonna have a higher float because it's got a high outstanding shares. The float is looking like 42.65 million. High float for a little cheap stock. Neither institutions or insiders want a lot of this. Both of them at 6 or 7%. Nobody getting brave on it. They trying to see what they're gonna figure out first. Makes sense if you like your money. But those are the four that I've seen with Catalyst. We've done our due diligence on them. Here's the notes. I'm actually going to let's go to edit. And this is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and mark this one as a no trader. But even if it does lead the day in volume, I'm okay with not touching that one based on everything we've seen. All right, back up to the micros. So we got AZI with only 2 million shares traded. We got VMAR with 30 million. We got PB. PB looks like it went on down on PBM. So yeah, depression and anxiety were the main things. It had like a cancer, or not cancer. It tried to play on cancer, but it couldn't. I probably need to add that to the notes. Played on cancer word. Play on word for cancer. On words for cancer. Okay, so that is there. Came back down here to the ATR high, but I'm not sure about that one. AZI, the Chinese stock is looking the most bullish. Okay, so let me see what we got here. Tenants in the building. So we got, how was FedEx earning? Wait. Let me go back up to the top. So your son is a pharmacist. Yeah. They I was going through bio pre-med, but I was more interested in like I don't know, I was more interested in the math of things. Like when I went through school and learning the math of how things work. Um I was okay with chemistry, you know, organic chemistry was a nightmare, but it was more like I just want to understand how things work mathematically, I guess. And so I ended up going the computer route. And you said, however, AI may replace them. I highly doubt that. Because the thing is, even if AI is some kind of superpower, AI can always fail, and you need people that have studied these things because there's nothing better than the biological material that is the brain, you know, because not only can the brain create from things that have not even been seen before, but it can remember, you know, a good bit of things. If you really study it and do those things all the time, it can remember quite a bit. But as far as like replacing, I don't know, man. I think pharmacists are always going to have a place, because there's always a human touch that is needed, and AI just hasn't reached the sentient state yet of the human touch. Now, if it does that, oh boy, it's gonna be a big problem. Let me read the rest of these. Cynic jumped in. He said, "Wow, Nike fall from grace." Yep. And then he asked about the FedEx earnings. FDX, FedEx earnings. Let's look at their daily chart. So FedEx has been, what's the high? The high of FedEx has been 319. And it's looking like it's trying to get back up there. I don't know what this level is. I don't know when I put this level in here. Let me look at this. This level is from February 2024, last year. Or wait, yeah, last year. 319. It looks like it's going back up there. It may end up trying to break it or gapping up or something. I don't know. I don't know how their revenues are looking. Okay, let me read some more of this. So FedEx earnings. Earnings probably negative, guidance due to tariffs. Probably, yeah, because FedEx does a lot of shipping and having to deal with all of these, on the border pickups and things like that. So that makes sense. Let's see what else we got. RexCon, one pharmacist with AI is currently projected to replace 5 regular pharmacists. Well, you know what that means. You better learn AI. You better learn it, because that's the same thing with the IT world. If you're cybersecurity, whatever, you're I don't know, you're into whatever part of the infrastructure that you're in and you don't know how to use AI, actually companies are now looking for AI experience. So I mean, if they put a tool out there, it's best to not be the last to use it. Now, usually I'm the last to get a new phone, last to get new whatever, but with AI, no, I'm already on that. I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and learn this, because this is going to be something that's going to make my work easier. And why not? Like, that's the whole reason I do coding and things like that, because I like to be lazy. I like to write a code that can do it 100 times for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to rinse and repeat the same process. No, I'm trying to automate. I'm trying to build something. Like, if I know how to do the process, I can just document it, build something to do it for me, and let it go. You know what I'm saying? I could be on to something else, building something else. I'm not trying to just sit around and do that same thing over and over again. And so that's probably how it is for a pharmacist. If you've done that process, or if you've seen that type of situation before, you log it, tell AI to remember it, and you'd be like, hey, recall this about this situation. What did I do? Oh yeah, that's what I did. And the only problem is it does kind of mess with your memory. You do need to probably play some memory games or something, because sometimes it kind of it can pacify you from remembering things when you always are like, oh man, how did I do that? Blah blah blah. Let me go see AI. But before AI, it wasn't let me go see AI. It was like, let me remember. Let me go into my documentation. Let me go and make sure what I did is what I did, and I don't miss any steps. All right, so yeah, PMB ended up drowning down there, going on down to only 8% up now. And that's why I was like, I don't think people are going to be in love with that depression and that play on words for cancer. AZI continuing up. That's the Chinese stock. I'm definitely not playing with that on Friday. I did dig out of the hole that was the trading hole for this week. I played around yesterday, taking multiple trades, but I did it on smaller share size, so no big losses from that. I had my first winner, 360 shares, went up. It was over $88, but I ended up taking $88. And then I got back in to see if I can get any continuation. Gave back a little bit off the top, but you know, usually I do one trade a day. That's really all I need. I'm not really a trade fanatic. I want to be right more than anything. So just being right little by little, getting my little bits out of the market. And this Monday, that $150 loss, it's not the worst loss, because I mean, I can make that back, but it's just like, man, I traded something without fresh news and I could have avoided it. You know what I mean? I could have just been like, oh, I'm not gonna trade that, and just went on about my way. But I kind of got drunk on power, because Friday, that the whole cannabis ripping, I was like, well, maybe I can just continue to ride this in the money, but I really shouldn't have did it. I should have just, played it on that Friday when the sector was hot and left it alone. AZI is continuing to push up though. It only has 3 million shares, so not a crazy amount of shares down there. And speak of the devil, YCBD back up here. And it went all the way up to, I think it went to like 250 or something. Yeah, 256, and now it's down here to 171. I'm not messing with that though. No fresh catalyst, no nothing. Nope, not messing with that. So let me go ahead and jump over here to the news and see what's going on over here. We looked through, so on watch, the things that I saw with catalyst today, and let me get rid of ATHA. It does not have catalyst. Traded that yesterday, but these four: PRPH, PBM, AZI, AMST were the only ones that I saw with fresh catalyst. I did my due diligence, got my notes over here, and yeah, I haven't seen anything that's like, oh boy, that's something that I want to trade on Friday. PRPH, definitely a lot of people looking over there with 21 million shares traded, and it's a higher float. So I'm wondering, do they even know what they're doing? Because if that gets crazy, it's going to that could be dangerous and get really tight. PBM, back over 10%, 12 million shares traded. AZI behind that, and then AMST. All right, so let's go over here to the news. Yahoo Finance inflation data wasn't convincing. Trump's team is still bragging. Wait, if inflation data wasn't convincing, Trump's team is still bragging. Economists were just as quick to warn not to read too much into the better than expected CPI numbers. Why Goldman still believes in Santa rally. 6 charts show how stock markets got reshaped. Nvidia shares rise as U.S. begins review of H2 100 sales to China. Bank of Japan hikes key interest rate to highest since 1995. China debt boom signals yuan's arrival as a funding currency. Top drug makers reportedly set to cut U.S. prices as Trump urged. Gold, silver near fresh records as data supports rate cut bets. United Health pledges operational changes after external audits. So United Health in the front news there. OT Immune's drug for a type of liver disease shows benefits in mild stage or mid-stage study. First Red Sea voyage nearly 2 years. Right. Trump suspends green card lottery for after Brown MIT attacks. Man, these people better stop attacking, bro. He literally cutting everything off for immigration. Like literally. Better chill out. Trying to what? Japan, JERA secures government subsidy for U.S. ammonia imports. China boosts AI chip output by upgrading older ASML machines. Okay, so let's see what these guys are talking about. So 2026 outlook for units of processor production for security. What November inflation data means for the Fed and investors. Does Oracle or Microsoft have more to lose if OpenAI underperforms? Top 10 trending tickers. Okay, so I don't care. I want things that are going to affect today. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm looking for. What November inflation data does could be something. Then the 2026 outlook. I'm really, they have all these outlooks and opinions, but I'm more, let's just go look at this one.
Likes the CPI report. However, the market likes the CPI report. However, you dig down, and there were clear signs of inflation still lurking, Burke.
Brian, well, good news there. Egg prices are continuing to trend lower year over year. I believe they're down about 13% yet again. We do have beef prices still sticky, though, but overall inflation coming in a bit lower than what had been expected from the street. Right now, CPI came in about 2.7% year over year, and what Wall Street had expected was about a 3.1% increase. Now, keep in mind, this is a bit of distorted data. We did have that lag because of the government shutdown, and so take this report with a bit of a grain of salt here. Also, keep in mind that next year, as we lapse this government shutdown, this will then be harder to have a year-over-year comparison of where exactly we are as far as month to month. We didn't get that in this report because of that government shutdown. And so while it was pretty welcome news, there were still some sticky spots, including beef, among others that were within this report that definitely stood out.
Beef's out of control, Kenny. I dropped $80 on a brisket for Thanksgiving. Man, this stuff is out of control, Kenny. I'm gonna have to start switching to chicken.
Everything's a little bit. I have to tell you, it is a little bit out of control, and it is becoming a little bit frustrating. You know, you even go. I have to tell you, I went to Dunkin' Donuts this morning. I bought 2 coffees and a donut. It was $10. I can't remember the last time that happened. Right?
No,
but it hits you when the girl says behind the counter it's $10. I go, what? I bought 2 cups of coffee and a donut. It's $10. Like, it's crazy like that, right? But it's happening. It is happening all around. And that's what's frustrating to people, is that they don't feel like food prices are coming down. We can say it is. They can say all they want. But it's how you feel as a consumer when you have to put your hand in your pocket to pay that bill. When you get to the register and you scratch your head, you go, how did I get to that number?
Kenny, I know you're a big chef. You're going to have to swap out those beef meatballs for some, Beyond Meat meatballs this holiday season, Kenny.
Oh, listen, I do traditional. I do veal, pork, and beef in my meatballs.
All right, fair enough. But Kenny, look, is this the perfect backdrop for investors? Like, I'm trying to figure out what takes the market down over the next month or so. I don't see it. If you're going to have inflation trending lower, you have a Fed still leaning, I think, to maybe one more cut. This is a perfect backdrop for a further push higher in the markets. Not to be a pumper of stocks here, but look, I mean, I can't find the downside risk here in the near term.
So I think the downside risk is going to be initially in 2026. I think it's going to be all political. I think it's going to be the midterm elections. It's going to be every House seat is up for grabs, right? So it's 435 House seats up for grabs. It's going to be all the new people showing their face. Where do they stand on the scale? Left, right, center. I think that's going to cause some initial kind of anxiety in the markets. But we know that geopolitical stuff and political stuff, create short-term chaos, but not long-term pricing in stocks. So I think on any of that chaos, any pullback that it creates, is going to be an opportunity, especially in these hot spaces that we're talking about, tech and utilities and energy and infrastructure plays. I think those are going to continue to dominate. But look, I don't think we're going to get another Fed cut until May. This news today, while it was good, like Brooks said, it's a little bit noisy because we missed a couple of months in this, so you're not really sure. And so I don't think it's going to cause the Fed to, Jay Powell, to certainly cut in January, maybe March, but I'm betting that they're going to let it go until May.
The market likes to.
All right, so
we did get another point of view.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I see. Let me see if anything up that newer. Next week, we're going into the holiday week of Christmas. And so we'll be able to kind of see where things go. But for Friday, I mean, I think I'm just going to chill out this Friday. Not really seeing anything super hot. AZI, just going into this next week. I'm already green on the month, not green on this week. I'm down $26, but $26 is negligible, to be honest. Can make that back pretty quickly with one good trade next week, but I don't know if Christmas week is going to be the week that news is going to be dropping. A lot of people go on vacation and all of that stuff, so kind of hard to tell. And I don't know how much time I want to spend, actually trading. So if everybody is on that same sentiment, it may be a little lighter on those days, but we'll see. Maybe I'll stick around. I don't know. But I feel good about this month. This December has been a better December. I've taken looking over the years, I've taken way less trades in this December and just these past months. Just one trade a day, make it happen. One trade a day, do the due diligence, do the research, and make it happen. But yeah, I think that's the best way to try to find consistency, is say, hey, on this one trade, what variables do I need to make this one trade the one trade that is going to work for me. And if you could do that, well, you could do it on multiple trades, because if you can do one trade a day and be green consistently, you know, you can definitely kind of change the atmosphere if you're taking multiple trades, because you're going to be verifying those variables first and having that on hand and using that knowledge as a tool set for holding for higher prices. So, you know, VMAR, and both of these are just going back and forth. AZI has 7 million shares traded. PBM still kind of grinding downward. This one, PRPH, not really looking super. It's got 39 million shares traded. Why are so many people trading this thing? 39 million at 15 cents is insane. But it's where the people are. So even though it has a higher float, the only low float that's above it is VMAR. VMAR doesn't even have a catalyst on today. And it's looking super downtrendy. But yeah, I'm probably just going to after the stream go and look at this code that RexCon sent over, see about this opacity thing, and then I'm gonna get to work on the day. So nothing really exciting on today, and I'm not really in the let's just wait around mood on Friday, because Fridays, they're either hit or miss. It's either you're gonna get something that is really good, or it's like kind of dry. And I'm looking for things to happen in pre-market. The things that happen after pre-market is just kind of like a Russian roulette play. PRPH. Okay, so we just got something else popping in here. Let's see what this is. INAB. It says announces pricing of a private placement of up to 40.2 million to advance novel gamma delta T-cell engager on IMAB, up 23%. Have not done my due diligence on that one yet, but let's see what else popped up here. Anything else that we haven't looked at? Not really. Okay, so we'll look at INAB, and then what else popped up here? Donald Trump stock. So this is the new one that popped up, and then we got a couple other ones that just creased out here. And then on the non-micros, we got CGC popped up here, BMNR, some of these lower ones, but PRPH is definitely the leader right now with 41 million shares traded. All right, so let's go look into INAB here and see what's going on over there. Okay, the float on this one is 4.02 million. 4.02 million. Insiders, institutions, kind of heavy in this one. Floats. There. Okay, let's jump over to the profile. Profile is looking like IN8 Bio, clinical stage biopharmaceutical company, focuses on the discovery, development, and commercialization of gamma delta T cell product candidates for the treatment of cancer and autoimmune diseases. Now, this one actually is a cancer drug, looks like. It's got a phase 2 clinical trial to treat newly diagnosed glioblastoma. Okay, so let me see how this one's going to be acting up. This one's out of the New York, the United States. And it is an actual cancer drug. And it may end up getting more love than the other ones because it's actual cancer drug. It has 17 employees. Healthcare biotech. Okay, and then what else? So keywords were cancer, autoimmune diseases, cancer drug. We'll see if it becomes something that's going to get really hot today. Genetically modified. Any other keywords sticking out here? These two trial cells, T cells. Incorporated in 2016. So it's got cancer, tumors, and all of that. So I think this is where people are gonna flow to because the other ones really wasn't a real, wasn't a real thing. Like a play on words of cancer. This one is actually cancer. So a cancer drug. So it went up to the high of 220. Came down here to this ATR high. Has 3 million shares. We'll see. It's at 23% right now. It definitely needs some love from the buyers. Got a little bit better news, so we'll see if they actually get active on it. Did our due diligence. Let me review that news one more time. So the news catalyst, it was announces a pricing of private placement of up to 40 million something dollars. So that's definitely not. Let me read this before I say that. Let me read this. So 20.1 million upfront with a milestone driven additional 20.1 million to advance these studies. Financing led by Coastlands Capital with participation from new and existing biotechnology investors. Okay, any other money talks here? Okay, so first, oh wow, company's current operating plans into the first half of 2027. Okay, so that's definitely into the future for sure. They're doing some future casting, but I think people are going to end up jumping on this one though. It's at 4 million shares traded right now. I mean, private placement isn't strong news to me, but they are talking money. So money. If money, I didn't see any money on any of the other ones. So I'm thinking people could flow over here. So we have a bottom down here of 150s, and we'll see how it ends up holding up at 150. Go over here to see if I can read more into this news on INAB. Okay. $20 million upfront with a milestone-driven additional 20.1 million to advance. Blah blah. Financing lead. Gross proceeds. So they're not getting 40 million right now. They're getting 20 million, and then another half is into the 2027. Under the terms of the SPA, the private placement includes an initial closing of approximately 20.1 million in gross proceeds at the initial closing. The company will sell 5 million shares of common stock at the price of 138. 138. Oh well, it's close to that. It's right above that 138 per share in lieu of common stock pre-funded warrants to purchase up to 9 million shares of common stock at the purchase price of 137 for each pre-funded warrant. Pre-funded warrants will have an exercise price of 0.0001 per share and will be immediately exercisable. The company will be eligible to receive up to an additional approximately 20.1 million in gross proceeds in exchange for up to 14. So it's it's already over the price that it's supposed to be selling at. So at any point they could sell at these higher prices. Let's see other money talks. Yeah, let me put that as a price target. So this is their purchase. The purchase price was 138. I'm gonna take note of that and add that here. Notes. Price target 138. It's already above that, and to get back to that, it just needs to drop under the ATR highs. So yeah, that's kind of scary there. They could sell at any point, and it could do a round trip back to 138. All right, looking around. What time is it? Man, this time be flying. Oh my goodness. All right, so looks like this old penny stock, the one that was receiving all that volume that we saw, I put on here no trade. I'm not touching it, but look at that. Went from 16 or 14 cents up to 19 cents. Super cheap one with 59 million shares traded. And if that's where the focus is going to be, if this is going to be where people are interested in, that's telling me to chill out on the day. I'm cool. This much volume? Oh, yeah. And that high float? Oh, no. And then just a non-binding agreement. Yeah, no, good. All right, but anyway, it is 7 whatever, and I have not found anything that I really want to watch. So I'm going to clean off my own watch list. PRPH. I mean, yes, the leader on the day. I'll still see it on the scans because it has 61 million shares traded. So I'm going to get that off of there. PBM, another one that depression and anxiety, but nobody's really on it like that. It does have 20 million shares. So, I mean, people were on it. I don't know if they're going to get back to it or what, but it's just out here around this bottom of the 158. So I'm not trusting that. Only up 8%. AZI, the Chinese stock, again, don't trust it. Whatever it's going to end up doing. Plus, I think it's still blocked on TOS anyway, so is what it is. AMST. This one was the AI driven sector, but it's not getting that volume. Stuck at around the 6 millions right now. Get that. And then INAB. Making a round trip. Guess where it's going back to, guys? Guess where it's going back to? The purchase price of 138. Where is it sitting? 138. 138. That's why we do due diligence. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. For me on this stream. I'll be back on Monday morning doing my due diligence, looking for fresh catalysts that make sense to trade. And I'm probably gonna get back to the whole one trade a day thing. I'm not gonna. I just push it sometimes, but I usually just stick to one trade a day. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys be careful, be safe, keep your head on a swivel, and you know, get ready for the holidays. Holiday week next week. If you're celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate, yeah, get your stomachs ready, get you a nice meal, or go over and see some friends, visit with some people, you know, shake some hands, increase your immune system, and have a great weekend. Appreciate you guys for tuning in once again, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Peace.